Hello, good evening, kids. Welcome to another Mr. Parker's Bedtime Stories. I hope you've had a great weekend, and whatever you've been doing, I hope you had lots of fun and able to maybe get out of your house and do some fun activities. I hope you've been getting on okay with the schoolwork today. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your themed work and the different projects of that. Remember, I'm looking out for a gold award for that. But we're continuing Mr. Parker's Bedtime Stories, our wonderful series of My Little Miss World by Roger Hargreaves. And are we halfway? Ooh, we'll be halfway on Wednesday, I think. So today's Monday, so we're a few till halfway, so we've got plenty more left, haven't we? And today it's someone who just can't get things together. They're just all over the place. Maybe you know people like that. It's, of course, Little Miss Scatterbrain, and I definitely remember this one from when I was younger. This was one of my favourite Little Misses. Let's see which other characters might come into it today. If you notice there, I don't even know if she can see. Maybe that's part of the problem. The hat's in the way. Little Miss Scatterbrain was just a little bit forgetful. You can say that again. Little Miss Scatterbrain was just a little bit forgetful. She met Mr. Funny. "Hello, Miss Scatterbrain," he said. "Hello, Mr. Bump," she replied. Poor girl. Getting confused already. She met Mr. Tickle. "Hello, Miss Scatterbrain," he said. "Hello, Mr. Strong," she replied. Sure, the tickling's a clue. She met Mr. Happy, of course. Everyone does. "Where are you off to?" he asked her. She thought and thought. "I bet you've forgotten, haven't you?" laughed Mr. Happy. Little Miss Scatterbrain looked at him. "Forgotten what?" she said. Oh dear. It's worse than we thought. Miss Scatterbrain lived in the middle of a wood in Buttercup Cottage. Everyone knew it was called Buttercup Cottage except the owner. She kept forgetting. "I know," she thought to herself. "To help me remember, I'll put up a sign." That's a good idea. That should help. And I love where she lives. Beautiful. Look what the sign says. She isn't called Little Miss Scatterbrain for nothing, is she? That says Daisy Cottage if you can't read backwards, guys. Oh dear. Couldn't remember it right to write the sign. So a sign's no good, is it? One winter's morning, she got up and went downstairs to make breakfast. Everything always starts with breakfast, doesn't it? She shook some cornflakes out of a packet, but being such a scatterbrain, she forgot to put a bowl underneath. "Now, where did I put the milk?" she asked herself. It took her 10 minutes to find it. In the oven. No way. After breakfast, she set off to town shopping. She went to the bank first. "Good morning, Miss Scatterbrain," smiled the bank manager. "What can I do for you?" Little Miss Scatterbrain looked at him. "I'd like some..." If it's the bank, what should she be asking for? What do you think she'd be asking for? Some money. Let's see. Some money, suggested the bank manager. "Sausages," replied Miss Scatterbrain. "Sausages?" exclaimed the manager. "But this isn't the butcher, this is the bank." Sure, they must be used to it by now. "Oh, silly me," laughed Little Miss Scatterbrain. "Of course it is. I was forgetting." She smiled. "I sometimes do, you know." "Really?" said the bank manager. "I'd like 2, please," she said. "Pounds?" asked the manager. "Pounds," agreed Little Miss Scatterbrain. I think she's still a bit confused. Wait and see. The bank manager passed 2-pound coins over the counter. Little Miss Scatterbrain looked at them. "What are these?" she said. £2, he replied. £2, she said. "They don't look like 2 pounds of sausages to me." Oh dear. Poor Little Miss Scatterbrain. It must be a very confusing world for her. Eventually the bank manager managed to explain, and off went Little Miss Scatterbrain to the butcher. "Phew," remarked the bank manager. Oh, poor Little Miss Scatterbrain. Little Miss Scatterbrain walked into the butcher's shop. "Good morning," said Percy Pork the butcher. "Good morning, Mr. Beef," she replied. "Pork?" said the butcher. "No," she said, "sausages." "But my name isn't Sausages," he said. "Of course it isn't," she replied. "That's what I'm here for." "Oh," said Percy, scratching his head. "What sort?" "What sort do you suggest?" she asked. "Beef," he asked. "I thought you said your name was Pork," she said. Percy Pork sighed a deep sigh. "Call me Percy," he said. It's not easy for Little Miss Scatterbrain. All the people who've got to deal with her every day. Eventually, after a little more confusion, little Miss Scatterbrain managed to buy her 2 pounds of beef sausages. Percy Pork wrapped them up for her. "Looks like snow," he said conversationally, looking out of his shop window. "Really?" said little Miss Scatterbrain, looking at the brown paper parcel. "What a funny man," she thought to herself. "Looks like snow indeed. Looks more like wrapped up sausages to me." "Goodbye," said Percy Pork. "Good night," she replied, and went out to catch a bus home. Well, they're very nice to her, aren't they, even though she gets confused. Little Miss Scatterbrain stood behind Mr. Silly in the queue at the bus stop. Along came Mr. Nosy. He stood behind her in the queue. He looked up at the sky. "Looks like snow," he remarked. Maybe she'll get it by now. Little Miss Scatterbrain looked at the brown paper parcel in her hand and said, "Nothing." Oh, I love that story. I do feel sorry for little Miss Scatterbrain though, but it is a great story. And that's number 17 in My Little Miss World Stories. Tomorrow, it is Little Miss, someone who shines really brightly. And we might say this to you sometimes in school when you do some really great work. I'll let you fill in the blank. See if you can get it for tomorrow. Although she doesn't seem to look like what we'd think a star looks like, so that's interesting. But anyway, tune in tomorrow for another Mr. Parker's Bedtime Stories. I look forward to seeing you then, and we're again reading another story that I've never read before, so it'll be new for me too. Hope you have a great evening and that you have a good day tomorrow. Good night, guys.